You're using your phone, Mr. Chastanet? Oh, I can't hear you. I can't.
Yes, I'm using my phone.
Oh, I'm hearing you. Yes. Can you turn it? Let me see if it's going to rotate. Oh, yes, good. Much better. Thank you. Let me just set it up. How long you have? Half an hour or?
Yeah, about half an hour.
Okay, good. I know you're busy, so. Um, so the S.S.D.F. we got to look at, right? That's 110 million.
Yeah, what I will do is I can start off and I can give you a quick brief with regards to the economic situation,
Yeah.
the social situation,
Hmm.
and then now the issue of governance.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
And then you can
So,
ask me any questions on any one of those three things. Situation,
yeah.
the social situation, and then now the issue of governance.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
And then you can ask me any questions on any one of those three things.
Okay, sounds good.
The social situation, and then now the issue of governance.
Okay, sounds good.
With me, Garfield Olliver, the news you report. Let's get to work.
Greetings to all. A pleasant good night to all our viewers here on Caribbean American News Media Platform, the news you report. I am your host, Garfield Olliver. Want to greet everyone. Please share the live and tag a friend as you join the platform. We have a guest with us tonight, and so we are inviting you to share the live and tag a friend. To those of you who are viewing us through our YouTube channel, we want to greet you and welcome. Our Facebook viewers, we want to welcome you to yet another broadcast. We were not here last week, and so we give time for the budget presentation so that you can be part of the budget. You need to understand what is happening with the Appropriation Bill 2026-2027. And so we have a guest with us tonight who will help us to further understand the appropriation, the budget for 2026-27 in St. Lucia. There's a lot going on around the world, and just today I realized that the gas price, they're a little higher here in New York. Thanks to BJ's, we could get a little cheaper gas. But for those, some of you in the region, I know you do not have an option. But tonight we will have a discussion. Our guest tonight would be the Honorable Alan Chastanet, political leader of the United Workers' Party and opposition leader, former Prime Minister of St. Lucia. So please share the live, tag a friend. I want to greet our brothers and sisters in Guyana, also Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Jamaica, all those of you who are logging in from Belize and the other nations. Thank you so much for being here with us. To our Radio 360 viewers, you too are most welcome here with us on the network. All right, so we're going to take a minute break and we will be right back. We encourage you again to share the live and tag a friend. We get to work soon.
Welcome to Caribbean American News Media. Let's get to work. I'm here to help.
Welcome to Caribbean American News Media, with me Garfield Olliver, the news you report. Let's get to work.
All right, so we are at work, folks. Our guest tonight, as I said to you earlier, is none other than the Honorable Alan Chastanet, and we're happy to have him with us on the platform. He's joining us through cyberspace. Mr. Chastanet, welcome to the platform. We're happy to have you here with us for the first time in 2026. Of course, I know that you're a fan of the show, and so we want to just say to you that we're happy to have you here with us. Our viewers look forward to the engagement with you here on our platform. So welcome again, Mr. Honorable Alan Chastanet, to the platform. I'm going to give you some time to greet the people. I know that they're excited. I can see many of them on the live. Greetings to you, sir.
Well, it's always great to be with you, Pastor Garfield. And then first of all, I hope you wish best wishes to your wife, and I hope that she's recovering very, very well.
Very well. Yeah.
And also to all of your viewers, to wish them a happy New Year. I know it's late in April, but I've not been on your show, as you said, since the beginning of the new year.
Yeah.
We have the budget that just took place down here, Garfield, which was timely, especially when one considers that there was a premature election, meaning an election that took place almost 2 years before it was actually officially due. And even during the election, we became very suspicious as to why the government was calling the election early, and whether that there was something that they knew that they didn't want to tell the general public. Well, the budget has revealed a lot of information as to why the government would have called the election early. If I could maybe, with your permission,
Yes.
speak to three components of St. Lucia: the economic situation, the social situation, and the situation we know as governance. And the budget spoke to these three things very, very well and pretty concisely. From an economic perspective, we now know that the work plan that United Workers' Party embarked on after COVID or during COVID was one of the best recoveries in the world. And so, notwithstanding that the economy during COVID in 2020 contracted by 24%, Antigua had contracted by 20%, and the other OECS countries anywhere between 17 and 18%. But what was interesting, Garfield, is that in 2021, St. Lucia's economy grew by 12%. Only two countries in the entire Caribbean actually grew in double digits. That was St. Lucia and Guyana. And we all know that Guyana had just recently discovered oil and was completely insulated from the economic fallout of COVID. The closest country to us that grew by 5%. And then in 2022, again, based on the initiative to coexist with COVID, reopen our borders quicker, it's interesting to note that in 2022, St. Lucia had more people coming from America to St. Lucia, 154,000, than Barbados had in total visitors, 150,000. And it was that initiative of reopening our borders and focusing on construction that helped stimulate the economy. And in 2022, the economy grew by 18%. And again, in comparison to the other places in the Caribbean, nobody else other than Guyana had grown by double digits. So again, St. Lucia by far outperformed everybody in the Caribbean. The purpose of me saying this is by 2023, whereas the debt to GDP, a very important indicator Garfield, because the debt to GDP basically is a good indicator as to the burden of debt on your entire GDP. And that's in essence what the ratio is telling you. So the more the debt, the bigger the debt is in comparison to your GDP, it would suggest to you that the country is having to work overtime to be able to overcome the debt burden that you have. And so the prudent level for debt to GDP is somewhere below 60%. And that's exactly where we were in 2019. So you could see how alarming it was that in 2020, because the GDP contracted by 24%, the debt to GDP went from 60% to 92%. But because of the recovery in 2021, the debt to GDP went to 82%. And that by the end of 2022, when the economy had grown by 18%, the debt to GDP in 2023 was 70%. It's a very important number.
Right. So
Because
I don't
what
want to
we've now
interrupt you,
seen,
but I just want to ask you,
that's
just
okay.
for clarity, coming out of COVID-19, it seems as though your government had positioned the country at a trajectory to take off with a robust recovery. Is it fair for the then government, the last government, SLP government, to compare growth between the COVID-19 era and what is happening now? Is that a fair assessment?
We've seen that the SLP government are full of semantics. Because the election was in 2021, but you remember it was at the end of 2021, they're trying to say that the full brunt of the GDP contraction because of COVID by 24% was because of our stewardship. And that's why I said to you that when you look around the entire Caribbean, everybody's GDP contracted. This was a world event that no government could have insulated itself away from it. Let's face it. We saw what was taking place in New York and the impact of COVID on your hospitals, on your medical facilities, on elderly people's homes, and just generally speaking, the economy. St. Lucia was worse because no planes were coming in. So we in essence shut the country down from April all the way to June. And it was a very deliberate decision on our part. And we adopted a policy called coexist with COVID.
Yes, I remember.
And so we said,
that.
okay, if St. Lucians are going to come home and quarantine for 2 weeks in a hotel, can we sell that package? Are there people in America who just want to get out and are willing to fly to St. Lucia, stay in a hotel, in essence, as a quarantine, but with more services? Would people buy that? And guess what? A lot of people did. And because US carriers were not flying to a lot of different destinations, it turned out to be one of the greatest marketing initiatives we could ever done. Because initially, St. Lucia was the only place you could go to. And then Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and Mexico followed us.
So St. Lucia was the first to open.
First to open.
Wow.
And to create that kind of package. And everybody then started to follow suit. So for a long time, when I see a long time, at least for over a year, the only place Americans could travel to internationally was Mexico, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, St. Lucia, and eventually Aruba. So it means people who had not even heard of St. Lucia but wanted to get out, all of a sudden we were on a list of five countries.
Oh, wow.
And that is why we have seen the kind of recovery or growth in the U.S. market today. So the U.S. market in 2019, we had our best year ever of 180,000. Today, we're talking about close to 260,000 U.S. arrivals. And I think that it's directly correlated to that overall policy. But the critical thing I want to say here is that by 2023, Labour Party was in government and the debt to GDP was 70%. Now, I've always asked myself this question. If when the Labour Party came in, they did not stop HIA Airport, it would be finished by now. If they had not stopped moving into the new building, the new St. Jude's building, we would be in already. If they had not stopped the DSH, we would have had horse races going on, and more than likely, the hotel would have been built with the university, and also the cruise ship port in Vieux-Fort would have been completed. If the SLP had not stopped the highway in Gros-Islet, I think that we would have completed the entire highway already. If they had not stopped the housing developments in Choc and Taverne, where would our economy have been? So notwithstanding that they stopped those projects, the economy still grew by 18%. But that's a question that we're always hypothetically going to have to ask ourselves. And it will be interesting to debate with different people as to what would happen. But the point I want to make is that in 2023, the debt to GDP was 70%.
Wow.
In the period leading up to 2019, United Workers' Party ran primary and current surpluses. And in fact, in 2018 and 2019, we were $57 million a deficit for our overall balance. So it means we were very close to actually achieving our goal of having an overall surplus budget. What does that mean? That means that the cost of wages and debt and your capital expenditure were, and that our revenue was greater than all those costs. And that's really where we want to be able to get as a country. And in those 3 years, we added about $110 million of debt every year. But interestingly, our GDP was growing at a pace of around 3% per year, the GDP was growing faster than the debt. And that's really what you want to be able to achieve. You then had COVID. We had to borrow $350 million in the first year because our revenue, which was $110 million a month, was cut to $55 million. So we had to borrow money in order to be able to pay salaries and in order to keep the lights on in the office, because whatever money we had to go towards paying the debt of the country. So we were just generating enough revenue to cover the basic debt of our country.
So you were able to pay government workers every month during the COVID-19 period?
Correct. We paid all the salaries. We paid all the operating costs. And here's the big one that a lot of persons would not appreciate. We have, on average, every year, around $700 million of bonds and treasury bills which come due, meaning that they're in the process of being expired. And generally, 98% of those instruments are rolled over, meaning that people recommit for another year, another 2 years, another 3 years, whether it's bonds or treasury bills. In that year, because of the COVID crisis, people needed money. And 25% of our bond and treasury holders redeemed their money, meaning that we had to find that cash for them. So we had to find an additional $200 million of cash to be able to pay those instruments above and beyond the salaries and the operating cost of the government. And remember, the operating cost of government increased because people were working overtime. And you remember that we were paying for the quarantine hotels. And we were paying the border control to try to prevent people from going and coming from Martinique. So look, there was a lot of money at stake. But here's the point I want to make, is that since 2023, this government has added between 2023, 2024, and 2025, are you ready for this? $1.2 billion of new debt. And the debt to GDP in 2023 was 70%. Today, if you take and include the $650 million that they just borrowed a couple of weeks ago, the debt to GDP is 85%.
Wow. 85%.
Okay? 85%. Now, I think that everybody has a right to ask the question, given that they have accumulated a $1.2 billion of new debt, not including the $650 million, and that the debt to GDP has gone from 70% to 85%. And very importantly, this year, the debt increased by 6.5%, but the GDP contracted by 0.5%. So remember what I told you. You always want to be in a position where your GDP, your economy, is growing
60,
faster
right.
than the amount of money that you're borrowing.
Right.
So the debt grew by 6.5%, and the GDP contracted by 0.5%. Okay? The other problem that we have, we say that, there's a saying where you say you're burning both ends of the candle. So on the debt side, this government, in my humble opinion, is been a dismal failure, and we have a serious problem of a debt burden that's going out of control.
Because that's not what the government
other side,
is saying. That's not what they're saying. They're saying, look, they're doing very well. The country is doing well. There's surpluses, and there's nothing to see. Everything is fine.
Well, these are their numbers. These are not my numbers. I didn't invent them. And you see, on the other side of the candle, you now have operating losses.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have seen since 2023 is that the expenses of government has significantly increased, while the revenue went up. But the revenue that we have seen has been a windfall. What do I mean by that?
Explain that.
It means that government was charging the same level of taxes on goods coming into St. Lucia, notwithstanding the impact of inflation. So a soap bar was coming in. It used to cost $1.50. Let's say the taxes was 10%. So 10% of $1.50 is 15 cents, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is the cost of the soap bar went to $2.50. They were still charging the same 10%. So instead of collecting 15 cents on one soap bar, they were now collecting 25 cents on one soap bar. So what you saw was the actual productivity of the country didn't change, but the amount of revenue that the government was generating went up. They also artificially kept the price of gas high at the pump, notwithstanding that the CIF price, the cost of when fuel came in, had gone down. So Nancy did a really good job today in Parliament explaining that for last year, as an example, the average price of gasoline coming into St. Lucia was $8.80 per gallon. Now, you have $1 that goes towards the dealer, $1 that goes towards the importer, and then $4 that goes to the government. So it means that the government last year was collecting $1.05 more per gallon than even the $4 of taxes. So they, in essence, were collecting $5.05 in taxes rather than $4.
So would you say, sorry to interrupt, so would you say that the government could have just forego some of that revenue, pass it on to the consumer?
In the form of cheaper gas.
Cheaper gas, yeah. Lower the price.
The other thing that countries are now doing, and I apologize to your viewers, so I will try to simplify some of these things as much as I can. When we're importing goods, there's two terms that you use. One's called FOB, free on board, meaning what's the cost of the product before it leaves Miami, once it's on the ship. And then once it enters St. Lucia, we call it the CIF price, which is the cost of the good, the insurance, and the freight. What countries are doing is now only charging the duties on the FOB price and not the CIF price. Because the cost of freight has been going out of control. So again, if you leave the tax rate at the same level, this is a windfall that the government is getting and not necessarily reflects the growth of the economy. But in doing so, what you're in essence doing is passing on 100% of the inflationary price plus the taxes onto the consumer. And how did we see that manifest itself in this year's budget? Is that we saw that retail and wholesale sales had contracted by 3%. In essence, that's telling you that the consumers bought less things, and that's a very bad sign as to the future of our economy when consumers are basically saying, I don't have enough money to keep purchasing. And so people are already cutting back on their expenditures. And that's not a very good sign for the next couple of years of our economy
Yes.
in St. Lucia.
Mr. Chastanet, that is something that I observe in this year's, this 2026-27 budget, that the government, I think it seems to me that they're increasing, and maybe they have no choice, the social programs, those social safety nets. They're offering a lot of one-time handouts, I suspect, to help to cushion this problem. And I'm not sure if they're tackling this this situation, correctly. What would you do in a case like this? A global crisis, high gas prices, food, everything has gone up. What would you do differently if you were the Prime Minister today?
Well, you don't have to ask me that question because we went through a period like that and you saw what we did. We felt it was very, very important to protect households and businesses. We felt that the balance sheet of the government was much more durable and resilient than individual households and businesses. So we reduced the amount of income that the government was taking in. We're very measured in what our expenditure was going to be, but passed on those savings to people by keeping the gas prices low, by reducing the VAT rate from 15% to 12.5%, and that by finding monies to be able to give to those persons who had temporarily lost their jobs.
And would not
Because
contributing to NIS, right?
Some of them, 6,000 of them had not contributed to NIC.
Wow. So basically, your UWP administration believe that the monies are better in the pockets of the people.
Correct. And in fact, I can't believe sometimes how honest the Prime Minister was during the budget. Because he said that the United Workers' Party was advocating for them to reduce the price of gas at the pump.
Yes, he did say that.
And even though he could have, he didn't, because he didn't trust how the people were going to spend the money.
So he don't trust
That the public.
So squeeze
on how they're going to spend the
So
money.
basically what he's saying is that, you squeeze them at the pump because they don't know how to manage their own finances. We know better than the people. And so it's better with us. And so we squeeze them to say, look, we have surpluses and we're doing well.
Correct.
But the people are not doing well.
And even when you talked about some of the things that the government has done, there's no truer words than when the Prime Minister said years ago that $5 can block a hole. So we've actually seen and now understand that is actually an ideology of the Labour Party. So let's take two recent actions by the government. You've heard the government brag about paying for CXCs.
Yeah.
Which is around $500 per child. How often in the lifetime of a child does a parent have to pay CXCs? It's once.
It's once. Yeah.
Once. So a one-time payment of $500. But meanwhile, the parent has sent that child to school, preschool, primary school and secondary school, before they can benefit from a one-time fee of $500. Now, compare that to what United Workers' Party was doing when we were giving kids ebooks, and we had a license which allowed for the books to be downloaded, loaded onto the ebook tablet. And what would have normally cost the people $1,000 per child per year to buy their books, the government of St. Lucia was paying that for them.
Oh, so what? So with
So-
the those, what do you call it?
Ebooks,
Ebooks. We would have just gotten rid of these expensive textbooks,
correct,
which would be a savings for families.
of $1,000 per child per year of secondary school. And eventually our goal was to introduce the program into primary school.
So what went wrong
The
with
other one-
with the ebooks?
The government stopped it. And what the government now is promising is they gave people computers, which has no software in it, and are now promising to go back to the ebook under the guise that they would have created the software. The same books, but the software that was downloading the books into it is now created within the OECS. Look, these are semantics. The numbers that I'm giving you are factual numbers as to how much the people would have saved. And then now the most recent one that has, in my humble opinion, just simply been a distraction because we just need to calculate it. So you're talking about that on average every year, around 900 to 1,000 kids are graduating. Sorry, 2,000 kids are graduating. So at $500 per child, we're talking about $1 million, correct? EC is what the government was going to spend. And we were providing at $500 per child for 9,000 students, $4.5 million, thereabout, dollars per year to pay for the books. Which one do you think people are better off on? Now the government is saying that they're going to give $1,000 towards any mother who has a child.
Right.
And we've now seen the philosophy behind that changing. So initially, it was to say to help ease the burden of the mothers.
Right.
Well, people have seen through that. Now they're saying that it's a policy towards encouraging people to have kids. $1,000. So you have the child, but now you have the burden of raising that child until they're 18 years old. And I won't even have to begin to calculate how much that's going to cost. But again, Garfield, people in St. Lucia are not so stupid. A lady came up to me when I was going into Parliament. I can't invent this kind of stuff. She said to me, Mr. Chastanet, I'm going to have triplets. So I thought that she was being a little bit facetious with me. And I said to her, triplets? You have the formula to get triplets? She said, yes. I said, so you're going to collect $3,000. She said, yes. I said, how much is it going to cost you now to raise those children over the next 18 years? She says, I don't know. I said, how you don't know? She said, that's not my child, that's Philip Pierre's child. So I'm bringing the child afterwards for him. He can take care of them.
That's because
that's a point of levity. Okay?
Yes.
Versus what we were doing. We were actually offering people healthcare insurance.
Right.
So even you just talk about reducing the cost of having the child at the hospital, right? How much would that have been reduced? And the government, and my government in particular, believed in putting more money in people's hands and let them make those decisions as to what they should do. And
I remember they were mocking you with the ching ching in your pocket. You remember that?
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Right. But the government, they're saying, this Labour government is saying, look, we giving $1,000 to pregnant mothers to help. We're giving them free health care. We
How many? Just ask you a question. How many children are born a year?
I really don't know.
2,000.
2,000, and at what rate we should be doing this?
Well, forget about the rate. I'm just saying to you, 2,000 at $1,000 per child is $2 million. And just on the gas alone, this last year, the government made $24 million extra.
On gas,
So if
you
you really
said.
want to be on gas, just by the extra amount of excise tax above and beyond the $4 that the government was charging,
And plus,
24 million.
and plus, you have the 2.5% levy, so the people are really feeling it. It seems.
Another 45 million.
Wow. So, and people don't realize that this money is coming out of their pockets.
Correct. What would we say? Peter to pay Paul, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to go and celebrate $1,000, but how much money have they taken from them? By making them pay a higher price for kerosene, making them pay a higher price for cooking gas, making them pay higher bus fares, making them pay higher taxes on the food items that they have, making them pay higher prices on entertainment. So every day the government is taking ching, ching, ching from your pocket and putting it in their pocket.
And then give you
Whereas United
some
Workers' Party, token.
token out of that,
Token. Now, the third issue is the issue of governance.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister revealed something that is, in fact, frightening.
What's that?
And at the same time, it answers a lot of questions as to what happened in this election.
Oh, yes.
The Prime Minister revealed that $65 million was transferred from CIP directly into the consolidated account of government. No problem, but that's windfall revenue. What I mean by windfall, we're not guaranteed to get that money from CIP every year. Okay? He also transferred $25 million to OKEU. That's a good thing. And he put in $12 million into WASCO because WASCO was running a deficit. Okay. But what then he did? He said he took $110 million. Listen to me carefully, Garfield. $110 million. And used it for social development and infrastructure. And our understanding is that that money was transferred from CIP and not in the consolidated account, but directly to S.S.D.F.
Can you
Now,
explain to us what is S.S.D.F.?
S.S.D.F. is a statutory body, a social development fund. When CDB and other donor agencies are giving us money to be able to help the more vulnerable people in our society, it tends to go to S.S.D.F. So when you see food vouchers, when you see short-term program STEP, when you see any kind of a social assistance that the government is doing, they generally do it through S.S.D.F. So here it is that we would have sent now $110 million into S.S.D.F. to help people. Now, I would have thought that if the government was doing that, it's something they would have bragged about. And there would have been a big announcement that the government was going to be putting $110 million in to assist people with social programs and also to help them with their smaller infrastructural projects in their communities. No such announcement was made. Nobody even knew the money was being spent. But I could say to you that during the election, we saw it. We saw the number of food vouchers. We saw the number of short-term contracts. We saw a number of grants being distributed. I never knew how much money, $110 million.
And
I
that
want
is,
to put $110 million.
and that was
Sorry, go
reported
ahead.
from the government agency, 110 million.
Entering in the budget.
Can I just play your exchange on that
Sure.
in the house? Is that okay?
Sure, please.
Okay, good. Okay, just bear with me. Um, okay, so we're going to remove it from there and bring it over.
The
Okay.
member said that in this last budget, $65 million from CIP was sent to the consolidated account. And separate monies were sent to health, to WASCO, etc. And he said $110 million, Mr. Speaker. $110 million. About $56 million was sent to infrastructure. I don't know if that went to the Ministry of Infrastructure. And $54 million was spent to social development. I assume S.S.D.F. Now, that's a significant stimulus program. There was no pronouncements. I heard nothing. I was a rep at the time. Nobody came to me and said, hey, Minister, a member for Parliament, there is this major stimulus program and there's money being made available through S.S.D.F. But what I did see, Mr. Speaker, is I did see during the election a lot of food vouchers, materials, grants, all kinds of things being spent all around the place, Mr. Speaker. $110 million, Mr. Speaker. And it begs the question, was this an economic stimulus program that we injected $110 million into the economy? Now, it also says, if in fact the economy contracted by 0.5%, and you put in $110 million, it tells you how anemic the economy must have been. And the most glaring number in that budget, in that number, Mr. Speaker, was that retail and wholesale declined.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm going to post that
Now-
to the platform so folks can listen
Now,
to it again.
what's interesting, Garfield, is I started off saying, okay, let's say that this is an economic stimulus.
Yeah.
So if you take into consideration $110 million and the government added $340 million of new debt to the economy. So this is money that went into circulation in the economy. And the economy contracted by 0.5%. And as I said, retail and wholesale sales were down. It just tells you what in a poor shape the economy was in, because if you didn't do those things. And you know what they were saying to me while I was on talking? They said, but we won 16-1.
That is the response,
see-
61.
The intention was never for it to be an economic stimulus. And I'll go on the record. This was a political stimulus.
So all the vouchers that we
This-
saw and galvanize and support around the country,
You saw it.
I was
You
on the
only
ground.
saw
I saw it with my
last
own
2 days.
eyes.
Right? This program had been going on for almost 5 months before the election started.
So you're saying
Okay.
that
Now,
This was-
I want to put this.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I want to put it in perspective. I want to put it in perspective, Garfield. The swing of the elections was 10,000 votes. So it means 5,000 people, in essence, who voted for me, our party last time, voted for the Labour Party. Okay? 5,000 into 110 million is $22,000 per vote, if you want to call it that. And if you think that they didn't target 5,000, but they targeted 10,000 voters, that's $11,000 on average per voter.
Wow.
That's unprecedented in the history of the country. And I would say to you, notwithstanding what policies a government may have, what candidates you may have, it would be virtually impossible to have won that election. And people should not be breaking their heads as to try to figure out what happened in the election in St. Lucia. The Prime Minister himself gave us the answer.
So we saw a lot of finance coming out from the government, and also what I realized was that, and it's on the platform, the electoral department. We had very low turnout also. So you had the finance, and then you have
Well, the
49,
answer to
I
that
think it is,
question-
percent.
Yeah, but the answer to that question is not apathy.
No.
The answer to that question is that people were paid not to vote.
You know what? There was a young lady who showed me the money, and she said, "Look, I was paid not to vote." So what you're saying? It's
So look, we're hearing the stories. We're hearing where
Yeah.
people, they had access to the ink pad, the ink that was being used, and got people to dip their finger in the ink and forego their right to vote and got paid. Now, these are the stories that are coming up on right now and have been surfacing. Now, the magnitude of the problem is in this situation. Now, if the government wants us to believe that this is not the case, I now have penned a letter to the Director of Finance, and I'm also penning a letter to the Director of Audit. I'm asking the Director of Finance, who's also the Chairman of the Economic Fund, what was the criteria that was used in order for people to access money from this $110 million? And we're demanding that there be an audit and a report provided to the public of St. Lucia who got the money. I don't deprive anybody of getting the money.
no.
But I would say to you, not everybody got.
But remember, we would say
And there
take
may
their
have
money
been
and vote
people-
them out.
And there may be people who were deserving of the money
Yeah.
and didn't get. So what was the criteria? Was it simply an election criteria? I don't know. I'm just speculating. But the fact is, I am free to speculate and presume the worst because the government has not been transparent, other than to tell us that they took $110 million. Now, when we now get into the audit of the CIP, that's an unbelievable situation. So listen to this.
Did we have a debate on that last report?
No, I brought up parts of it in the budget debate. What I said in the budget debate is that we have the two last audits, and the two last audits are showing us that 95% of the revenue that's being generated in the CIP is from the due diligence fees and the administrative fees. Do you understand what I'm saying? 95% of the money that's being collected by those persons, by that CIP unit, is coming from due diligence fees, $8,000, and administrative fees, $30,000. We cannot find hide or hair of the money we're supposed to be getting for our citizenships. And here's the interesting number. Here's the interesting number. In 2024, there was 5,800 applications. And it generated, listen to me carefully, 5,800 generated $133 million of revenue in due diligence. And this year, 2025, 2,800 applications, almost half, generated $200 million in fees.
Did you say this year?
Make that 2025, last year. Okay, you listen to me?
Yeah.
2,800 applications generated $200 million. So almost half the amount of applications generated twice as much revenue.
So what's going on here?
That's a question we should all be. And you see, what the Prime Minister was trying to run away from is that the auditors said at the time of signing off on the financial statements, which was in fact November 20th, which was 1 month after the report was due in Parliament. 1 month after. But up to the time of signing, they had not received the annual report. And therefore, they cannot comment on the veracity of the financial statement and whatever is going to be put into the annual report. So I asked the question, has the CIP unit given the auditors the annual report now, and have the auditors written back to say what their thoughts are? Because I would have to say, anybody looking at those numbers would have to ask, what is causing that differential? And what would potentially cause that differential is the number of people in an application. So maybe in 2024, there's 1.5 people per application. And in 2025, there was 5 people per application, because that would explain why the due diligence fees are higher. But in the absence of knowing what that number is, we don't know.
That
And
is
I know
not
what
going to
people are
show
going
up
to say. The critics,
in this.
right, well, the critics will say, well, you didn't show how many citizens we had, but I want to correct them. Every report that we produced not only showed the number of applications, but showed how many citizens were being approved. The other thing that has not happened, and you're very familiar with this because I know that Martinez has been on your show a couple of times. There's no audit of the escrow account.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about the escrow account. How do we know what's in that account?
We don't. And the government refuses to tell us.
So we have absolutely no control over the escrow account.
Well, the escrow account, the reason why we are co-signatories on it is so that the numbers would be reported to us. This way, we can verify for ourselves that they collected the right amount of money from each person. So if you have 6,000 files and each file is worth $200,000, that means that the escrow account at one point has to have $1.2 billion in it. That's math.
But that's
No.
that's a lot of money sitting out there.
That's a lot. Right. Now, and you want to hear the worst part? The contract says that the government is going to pay Galaxy back the administrative fee to $30,000 in the form of a commission.
Why?
So it means that we're not collecting any money from the hotel project. And then to make matters worse, Garfield, every single person currently working on the site at Galaxy are Chinese. Everyone.
So that hotel, it's almost done. Is it still being worked on? Is there construction going on?
Yeah, there's construction going on, but it's all Chinese workers. So does it make sense to you that they're leveraging our sovereignty, collecting what it seems to be 3 or 4 times more than what the hotel is going to cost, and still now using all Chinese workers?
So who's
And then the administrative fee, wait a second, the administrative fee, $30,000 times 6,000 is $180 million US that we were supposed to have collected in administrative fees. That money has been given back to Galaxy.
by this administration? Given back.
By this administration. Given back.
But there's an argument, Mr. Chastanet, that you are the one responsible for sending the monies to overseas. I think it's to China. It is
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Yeah. What?
Yeah, my administration approved the opening of an escrow account. The escrow account can be anywhere in the world because what you're doing is just reconciling the account, as I said.
So the problem is not where it is.
No. But let me say this:
accountability.
the government, this government has said it was right. But when they amended the contract to give them 6,000 files, to give them back the administrative fee, why didn't they change the location of the escrow account if they wanted to?
But that's what I'm saying. They had 5 years to bring it back to St. Lucia.
So let's understand the semantics of this government. Philip here said that he wants unity. She said there's no prime minister that's ever had to face the kind of economic crisis that's pending.
That's not true.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you what the man said. And what he's asking me in particular is for unity, of which I have zero difficulty. But I asked him in the House, I said, but is it a matter of do as you say or do as you do? Because when you were in opposition, and I was in government, and we had COVID, you went and had a march in the streets.
Oh.
You went and marched on Marjorie's Beach.
And
Richard Fedrick
and the Black
and a
Lives
bunch of them
Matter.
went and did a motorcade around the island.
Yep.
And also brought in racism
Yep.
at this particular time,
Yeah.
taking advantage of the environment, of lockdowns.
And I believe that was wrong because you're exposing frontline workers. The police officers got to be out there to man the streets. And
Absolutely. But
yeah.
So, but let's go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
They demonized Cabot.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know this. On that same piece of land, before it was Cabot, it was Raffles, which was a golf course, a hotel, and residential, exactly the same as Cabot. That's why Cabot bought it. And the persons that gave Raffles planning approval was labor. The persons that broke the ground for Raffles was labor.
Oh,
The
my.
persons that celebrated it as a breakthrough project was labor.
I don't believe this.
You then
Wow.
had now the Labor government going after Sandals, claiming that they owed taxes, which was not true, demonizing them for wanting to build a 10-story building in between the landings and Sandals Grand. But yet today, you want to tell people if they don't support the 10-story building going up by VG Beach, they're against tourism. Okay? This is the same government that criticized DSH. Remember? They demonized DSH.
Well, up to today,
But
they're
did
still
you
doing the
know-
same.
But did you know that the persons that brought Tewa King to St. Lucia was labor? And the prime minister is on record as saying he never signed any agreement. But I produced a letter of him telling Tewa King of his government's support for the project and wanting now to enter into a framework agreement. And I loved it because Ernest Hilaire stood up and said that that was a letter of comfort. So I said, so great. So it does mean that the former prime minister did sign something. He signed a letter of comfort.
Right.
He said, but
Yep.
yes, we negotiated the framework agreement, but we never signed it. I said, well, when I came in, the framework agreement, the draft was there. When I saw the project, I embraced the project. I didn't get into the semantics as to who started the project. It was a good project.
So you just
When we
went,
came in,
you just
the dam was-
continued.
Just continue the same
Right.
project.
And Viewfort needed
But you
the development too. The people
well,
of
the people
Viewfort.
in Viewfort need to celebrate. Because United Workers' Party was going to do a cruise ship port in the south, which is where it should go. And I'm very happy to hear that the government now has come to their senses and is going to move the cruise ship port from Castries, not the entire part. They're just going to focus on Point Seraphin and Castries, but expand it in Viewfort.
Wow, that's.
Hallelujah.
Are you serious?
Hallelujah. I'm serious.
Wow, this
Hallelujah.
is a kumbaya
See?
moment.
We now know because we have history on our side. The Labour Party said that it would have taken 6 months and $30 million to have completed St. Jude's.
Yeah.
Now we know the old one. Now we know the truth. That's not true. We're going on 6 years. We're going on $300+ million, and we're still not open. We're still not open.
Right. And I heard Renault
So
in
you
an
see-
interview saying that what he would have done with the new building that you did, with what the United Workers' Party did, was to give it to an outside entity to have a private hospital. So in my mind, I'm saying, I mean, why?
Renault, I hope he's listening to me. Renault speaks from both sides of his mouth. Okay? So I don't trust anything that Renault says, because here's a man that has obtained over $1 billion of government contracts. He now recently got the contract for the container port in Bexaw. Nobody knows any details. He went and did the Vesique Road. Where is it that you could ever believe that the Ministry of Infrastructure would allow a road to start without getting Lucelec to go in first to move the poles?
Yeah, that was
So
confusing
who
to
gave
me.
who gave him permission to do the road? How much did he get paid to do the road? None of us know. So the plan was that the new building we were going into was specifically made bigger so that the downstairs would have been housed the hospital for the south, and upstairs would have been an international hospital for the whole of St. Lucia. That's why the helicopter pad. So all that was put in
Oh.
place. And more importantly, the operating cost of our local hospital would have been reduced because it would have shared the facilities with an international hospital.
Oh, wow.
And we already had worked out with the cruise lines to get the cruise ship workers to use our hospital so that we would get volume.
So if your administration, let's just say, had won the is it the 2021 general elections, at this point we would have had a new hospital, we would have had
International as well.
a new airport, an updated airport,
Yep.
a cruise ship,
Yep.
a home port.
Yes.
So Beaufort would have, and plus the racetrack.
The horse race, and the new hotel and university that DSH was building.
Oh, they were doing a university there too?
Correct.
Because solutions are of the opinion that the DSH project was only a horse race. So they would say things like horses before hospital.
Which I still don't understand what that means, because
Yeah.
the government of Solution never paid anything towards the horse racing. The horse racing track was the first step. And he paid for everything. That was his goodwill.
So the government did not give him any CIP passports to sell.
None.
There was no finance from the government.
I told you that was the standing joke. I remember when in the deal is that they were going to give CIP passports for horses. And I said, but what happens when the horse dies? Look, we agreed that was not going to work.
No.
So what we agreed to do was to facilitate legislation to allow for horse race betting, and that the government would have foregone any kind of royalties on that betting to help subsidize the operating cost of the horse racing track. But he built and that's the operations, but he put all of the capital money in. He brought all the horses in, and up until when we left government, he was responsible for all of the operating losses or profits at the facility. So look, this is a significant loss for the people of this country. And now I'm hearing that the airport, instead of costing 200 million US, is going to cost upwards of 400 million US.
Because we wasted
And
a
that the
lot of
government is
time.
going to do, right? The government is going to do a bolt agreement. I have no idea how much of the head tax now they're going to give away, because we were only using $35 of the head tax. So it's going to be interesting to see how much of the head tax the government intends to give them. But anyway, I just wanted to share those things with you, Garfield. I just want to say that for all your solution viewers, the country is not heading in the right directions. We see a situation where the cost of running government, rent, is up to 85 million. By the time the halls of justice opens up, the rent will be $115 million a year. That most ministries now have reduced their capital expenditure, but recurrent expenditure, which means salaries, has gone up. That the government has been benefiting from windfall revenues from inflation and the fluctuation in the price of gas, and that they have been benefiting and using CIP money unbeknownst to all of us in the economy. And I'm very concerned, because now that we've lost our British visa and that we're on threat to lose our Schengen visa, our European visa, what's going to happen? I mean, were you not astonished? I don't know if you saw Alva Baptist's presentation.
Yeah, I did.
Here's a man.
I did.
Yeah, here's a man, and correct me if I'm wrong, that he was asked by a reporter to tell him what GDP was. And he struggled to describe what GDP was.
Yes.
Spent his entire budget presentation talking about economics, of which I don't think anybody understood one word what he said, but never once addressed the fact that St. Lucians now need a visa to go to America. St. Lucians need to apply to a visa to go to Canada, and that the immigration policies in the US are tightening up. And my understanding is because the government is not being transparent about CIP, that there are further pressures coming on, and that the U.S. Law enforcement officers are still very much have the OECS very much in sight and are keeping a close eye as to what's taking place. And I think that there's going to be further actions taken. But ultimately, so far, only the persons that are paying the price are the people.
But why are we not hearing
I mean,
from the external minister? Why are we not hearing? He's
man
not
spent-
addressing
the
the
man spent-
nation.
imagine, I got 5 extra minutes, correct?
Yeah,
He got an extra half an hour.
and still
I don't
we
even
heard
talk about-
nothing.
I don't talk about Stephen King, right? And still we heard nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
He didn't even acknowledge it.
No, nothing.
But you see, this is the kind of arrogance that is happening now in our country, where they believe they're so empowered by 16.1 that they can do whatever they want to do. And that's why I think just as important as the fiscal situation in St. Lucia, just important as the social situation and the living standards in St. Lucia are, the state of governance in our country is equally as important. So on that note, that's a lot for everybody to digest.
It is
but
a
I
lot.
would like to
So-
say to you, I'm very happy to come back anytime you'd like. I'm going to be on Timothy Polion tomorrow night with
good.
Tommy Descart.
Good.
I'm having a very similar discussion. So if any of your viewers want to hear it, and I'll probably be repeating a lot of the things I said tonight. So if you didn't understand everything I said, and I know I'm speaking fast and I apologize, and sometimes these are complicated issues, I'll be repeating it again tomorrow night as well. But I am very happy to come on your show at any point. And again, unlike what is being said, I am not a bitter person. I'm not an angry person.
I was about asking you that.
I
Are you
accept
bitter?
the- No, and nor am I broken, right? Look, I and even when people want to tell me, boy, you guys didn't do a good enough job of communicating to people. Now that I know $110 million was pumped into S.S.D.F or through some entity that clearly, in my humble opinion, significantly influenced the outcome of the elections. And that's not bitterness on my part. That's a reality. That's a lot of money. I don't think at any time in our history that we've seen this kind of largesse so blatantly used to influence the outcome of an election.
One question before you go. I know you got to go. You have an assignment. But my question to you, are you willing, if elected as Prime Minister once again of the country, are you willing to take on the idea of campaign financing in the country, which I think it's necessary, it's needed now? Not because UWP lost the elections, of course, but because it's needed.
100%.
Yeah.
And whether I am in government or not, I would use whatever powers I have to influence my party to do so.
Yeah.
But let me just say this to you, that the money is going into S.S.D.F, if in fact that's where they went, and hopefully we'll get confirmation on that soon, will never be seen by campaign financing. It has nothing to do with campaign financing. Campaign financing is about how much money a political party raises.
Yeah.
So it means that in addition to the $110 million, we have no idea how much money the Labour Party collected from its benefactors.
Oh. And that's
Okay?
where
That
campaign
money would have been
finance comes in.
would have come in.
Yeah.
This $110 million is an issue of governance.
Yeah.
How can the government take the people's money, put it into an entity that's a statutory agency outside of the consolidated account, and believe that they don't have to account for the money?
Well, some people say
I don't even want to use the adjectives that I ought to use tonight to describe that.
But
I'm
some
going
people
to
say-
give the government.
I mean, the government has the purse, and to their advantage, they use it.
The question is, did everyone benefit equally?
Well,
So I'm happy for the people who got,
yeah.
but I'm more concerned about the people who didn't get, who deserved it.
So we need greater transparency, checks and balances.
And when you consider where we are financially, to have taken $110 million, which is free money, right?
Yeah.
Unencumbered money, right? To use it in that way.
Well, if we have to, $110 million, it means that the people are really suffering in the country, that we got to spend $110 million on, is it social safety net programs?
And the economy still contracted.
Yeah, but we're boasting that everybody is happy.
And you added $340 million.
Yeah.
But you see, tourism was down. All the major sectors were down. Construction. I mean, you know, bananas are down to $6 million of sales a year. Huh?
Six what?
$6 million EC. And our biggest market for bananas is Antigua, $2 million.
Well, I heard our biggest market is going to be our schools, because one banana per child now.
We're only consuming $3 million worth of bananas locally. And this is where, you know, look, bananas has had its run.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very difficult to bring it back, but
It's
I think
not coming
cocoa
back.
is the new crop.
Yeah.
And I was corrected in the House because I said it was not mentioned. So in fact, it was mentioned once
Yeah.
when the minister said that Mars bought Hotel Chocolat. That was the extent of cocoa, the crop of the future. So I tell you, this government is not ready to handle the situation. And this government is also now wanting to forget that they've already been in government for 5 years. Who are they going to blame now?
Yeah.
Who are they going to blame? Thank you very much, Garfield.
Okay, Mr. Chess, thank you so much for being here with us. Look forward to hearing from you tomorrow night. Thank you so much.
I did, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, folks, that was the Honorable Alan Chastanet, opposition leader of St. Lucia and political leader of the United Workers Party. I'm going to take some time to open the lines. We'll go up to 9:30, but we're going to open the lines if you want to comment. I'm going to read some of your statements, and then we're going to open the lines. Let me ensure that the line is up and running so that you can call. Let's see if we can put our number up. I'm going to read some of your comments and see if I also can respond to some of them. 929-586-1821. What is your understanding of the budget? And I think that there's some good things in the budget, to tell you the truth. I heard the opposition leader praising the Prime Minister on his delivery. It was a very long delivery, of course. There are a host of the challenges out there, and I don't want us to sit here and say, well, the government is not doing anything good, that they're doing everything bad. I don't believe that, because if they give one sweet to a child right now, it benefits that child. That child feels, something, receives something. But overall, I think we got to look at the entire country where we are now. I heard that there's going to be the one banana in school policy, well, per child, of course. I believe that's what it is. And it's a good thing that we teach our children to eat local. We introduce local. As a matter of fact, our schools and our hospitals and our government institutions should be using more local. The government need to lead also by example, not only in the schools, but when you're catering in the house, give the speaker dasheen and a piece of fish head. Eat local, we're saying. So governments need to lead by examples and don't just go for your cocktails and use all the Americans and the English products. Yes, let's start introducing it in the house, after the house sitting. Let them go and eat some dumpling and dasheen, let the schools start using the local products. Our hospitals, we can ensure that majority of what we bring in to the hospital is local. Back in the day, St. Jude Hospital, the farmers, people would bring in, the fishermen, they would bring in to help with their bills. They will bring fish, they will bring dasheen, bananas. There was always local foods at St. Jude Hospital. I think we need to go back there. Forget about the pasta. You don't need pasta in the hospital. Yeah, give people some natural stuff there. So I do support the government idea of eating local, planting, growing your food local. We need factories for some of the fruits that we have wasted all over the country, like mangoes, pineapples, and those things. We need to have more local stuff on our shelves. So it is a challenge for the agriculture minister, who is new, and also Prime Minister Pierre, who's doing his best to push the idea of let's start getting back to local, doing local stuff, eating local things. Very important. We should not mock it. I don't believe we should laugh at it. I think it's very important for our nation. I've always been pushing that families need to get back in the garden. They need to, use the space, the space and produce your food, your seasonings. I see people from Dennery going into Castries to buy sweet pepper and to buy. You should not be going in Castries to get those things. You should be getting those things in your backyard. You should be getting them right there in the Denver community. So I do support and will promote strongly with the government the whole eating local and trying to gather your rainwater. There's a big crisis with Wasco. Wasco problem is not rain not coming and drought. Wasco problem is just, it's a failed company as far as I'm concerned. One of the biggest failures in the country when you look at it. We have not done a lot. Wasco, have the management of Wasco has been so, I believe, and forgive me, or I need to be corrected, political appointees has drowned out. I don't know why I would use the word drowned out at Wasco, because Wasco say they don't have water, so nobody can drown at Wasco. But the truth is, it's a failed company. Failed company. To be having all these issues at this time. We had all the years of warning. Common events cast their shadows. We had all this time to prepare and to build up the Wasco company and to have a more modern facility with solar panels and all kind of the renewable energy, running their pumps and everything else to cut their expense, and a lot of people, some people at Wasco need to go home. Some of the bourgeois who are getting all the millions of dollars per year need to go home and allow the company to breathe, to rebuild and refocus. But I strongly believe that the government of St. Lucia, this administration, is going to privatize Wasco. They wanted to a while back, and Stevenson King had objected to it, and the United Burgers Party. I think they're heading, that's exactly where it's going. That is exactly where Wasco is going. It's going to be privatized shortly. Just watch the space and you would understand what I'm saying. But it's a failed company. Fail. From the time I was a little boy, Wasco is fighting with pipes, fighting to bring water into Dennery. Weeks, no water in Dennery. And both SLP and UWP can appreciate what I'm saying. It's a fact. Whether you're UWP, SLP, we had problems in getting good pipe water. And I told you to a point where I know in Denver, in fact, a lot of the people used to develop these white marks all over their skin. They call it LOTA, whatever it is. And in my mind, because I got some too. And what cured me was some product I got from over Barbados, and that wiped it out. It was a pill and a cream, and that wiped it out completely. But all these things could be, I'm not a scientist, but I have my suspicions that it was, the water. So Wasco is a failed state as far as I'm concerned. The airport, Mr. Chastanet spoke about, I think we're behind on that development. It should have been done out of the way, where we're focusing on bracing ourselves for the challenge, the global challenge that is out there that is going to beat us down. Whether you like it or not, I am telling you, the Caribbean nations are going to be brought to their knees. Okay, so let's take this call. Somebody's trying to get us. I'm just waiting for the screen to load on the device. Caribbean American News Media Platform. Caller, you on the air. Hold a minute. Let me just get you on. Can you hear me? Just hold a minute, okay? I'm going to bring it onto the system. It is not onto the system for some reason, so I'm going to pull you over. Just bear with me, all right, my friend? Well, I don't know who you are, but I'm going to bring it over. Just bear with me. I think. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Good night.
Good night.
Mr. Garfield, I thought like the Honorable Alan Chastanet would have stated to answer certain questions concerning the United Workers' Party.
This is not a show for the United Workers' Party, sir. And the United Workers' Party business, I would say to you, is not going to be aired on this platform. There are internal stuff that are happening, and this is not a place to ask the Honorable Alan Chastanet how the party and if he's the leader and who's going to be the leader and who's going to be that. If that's what we're looking for, it's not going to happen here. But do you have any question about the United Workers' Party?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask him some questions, but he's not there to answer.
Ask me and I'll ask him.
Beg your pardon?
Talk to me about the party. Are you in support of the United Workers' Party?
Very much so, born and bred. And I'm very concerned about what is going on now.
Talk to me. What's going on?
Because of the, I mean, we have 2 landslide defeats.
And what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? A lot is wrong. What is the cause of it?
Okay, so let's take
landslide defeat. You said what is wrong with that? There's a lot wrong with it.
Listen to me. The Labour Party have lost many elections. The United Workers' Party have lost many elections.
Let me ask you.
Talk to me.
Hold on. Will you agree with me that the last elections, it was not about issues, it was more about leadership? Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I have not seen any assessment of that.
You have not seen that?
I have not seen
any. What is going on? Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's clear it was about leadership and not issues.
It's clear to who? Is it clear to you that it was a leadership issue?
What? It was an election about leadership. It wasn't about issues.
When you say leadership, there's a whole lot of people in leadership. What are you talking about? The executives, the political leader?
Hold on. It was about the 2 leaders of the party. The 2 leaders who...
2 leaders?
Who the people are more...
Who are the 2 leaders you're talking about?
The country.
Talk to me. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation.
Yes, we're having a conversation.
Yeah, who 2 leaders you're talking about?
It's because the election was between the 2 leaders. It was not about issues. It was about leadership. Okay, another question. Why we had such migration from UWP to SLP? Why?
Why we had... I'll tell you, there's a whole lot of reasons. I can help you. I can help you with some of the reasons if you would like me to. I can help you with some of the issues why they are migrating, if you would allow me.
Go ahead.
Okay. In my honest, and I'll be very open with you and the viewers, right? One of the problems with the migration, when you look at the migration, the people who are leaving, who have left the United Workers' Party, I want you to have a background view of the situation. Let me explain. For instance, we have a number of individuals who came forward, submitted their names to be selected as candidates for the United Workers' Party. Many of them were not, well, majority of them who are out there, who left the party, were not selected by the party. Some of them argued that it was the method that was used, that they were not informed, that they were not selected, that the process was not followed. It was not a perfect process, and therefore they got angry. Some believe that some people misled them, lied to them, and so they got so disgruntled that they left the party. If you interview many of them, they're going to say the same thing to you. I left because my name was submitted and the process was not right. The first process was not fair. Would you agree with me on that one?
No, I won't.
What do you mean you won't? I don't understand. Explain.
If you look at it, hold on.
Talk to me.
A number of candidates who were not selected, they left, they went on the other side and they won.
Mm-hmm. They did what?
They left.
And they won?
And they won.
What they won?
They won the seat.
I don't understand. They were only...
For example, Babudu.
Uh-huh.
You see, we have to face the reality of what is going on, Mr. Garfield. There is too much. If you don't toe the line, you are sidelined. That's what it is. It's too much manipulation going on in UWV when it comes to candidate selection.
Caller, I think you're misleading me. No. I'm beginning to think. No, wait. I think you're misleading me, because when you say you all UWP, that doesn't sound like a UWP to me.
Hold on. Right. Listen to me. That is the problem UWP have. Anytime you speak about the ills of that what is going on in the party that is not right, you are not UWP.
You don't sound what I'm saying based on your approach.
On the hierarchy of the party, you're not listening, but I gave you a chance to talk. Give me a chance.
Well, it's my program too, Go ahead.
I know it is not a program if you don't have listeners.
Well,
can you have a program to yourself?
Yes, of course. But go ahead, sir.
Okay. There's too much manipulation going on in selection, even in electing an executive. Too much manipulation going on among delegates. It's supposed to be a democratic process.
So how do we fix that now?
How will we fix that?
Mm-hmm. How do you as a UWP? Go ahead.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
If what is going on there continues, we will never win the next election. Okay? The party has a constitution. We need to follow the constitution. I think the best thing for the party right now is for the executive to do the honorable resign, get a management committee, lead us into the how they call it?
Convention?
How they call it? What is supposed to be? I beg your pardon?
Convention?
Lead us into the convention.
Mm-hmm.
And let the process be free and fair. Let it be democratic. Stop the manipulation.
Okay, so let me ask you. It sounds like you're very passionate about your party. Did you vote?
I'm very passionate.
Did you vote in the last election?
I've been voting from the time I became 18. I've been voting UWP and supported UWP inside out.
So you voted for the United Workers Party in the last general election?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and I want to say on behalf of the party, thank you so much. I want to say...
Hold on. I campaign for them. That is the problem with us,
Okay, you're finding a lot... Hold. You're finding a lot of problems with the United Workers Party. You realize that, right? Everything that you have said to me tonight is the problem with the party. What is good with your party? What do you want to sell to the nation about your party that is good? Tell me one good thing.
It's not, you know where we have to start? The party needs to be restructured with a fresh approach, with a new face.
Sir.
We cannot continue. You cannot tell me we had a base of about 35,000 and it went down to about 25,000. We lost 10,000 voters. The base of the party is dwindling.
We did not get 20-something thousand votes in the last election, sir.
How many votes we got in the last election, Mr. Olliver?
I got to check it out again, but I believe it's above that. It is about 30
Is what?
something. It's in the 30s, I believe.
The party's base is dwindling.
So, caller,
The party's not attracting.
caller,
attracting
I
nobody.
am asking you. I'm asking you again, right? You have said a lot of the negatives about the party. I want you to tell the
What is the
nation.
negative that put us where we are today?
Caller, hold a minute. I want you to tell the nation one good thing about your party, the United Workers' Party.
One good thing,
Yeah.
we have lost our way.
You see, up to now, you can't find one good thing about your party.
But there's not, to me personally, I don't see nothing good going for the party. Nothing.
So you're part of a nothing good party.
That is the state we have reached, got ourselves in. That's the whole we have gotten ourselves into. That is why we don't want to face the reality of the story.
Who don't want to face it?
You know, the supporters are not of the hacks.
So now you're calling the United Workers' Party supporters hacks.
But a lot of them they don't want to face the reality of the situation.
And you want to force them to face what you think. You want to force them to agree with you that their party is no good.
It is in a bad place. Right now, it is in a bad place. If the status quo continues, we'll continue to lose.
So
I'm telling you, the party needs a new structure, a new system, a new face.
what do you mean a new face? What do you mean? Get to the point. What are you saying? They should get rid of Alan Chastanet? Get rid of who? Who should they get rid of?
We need a new leader. It is straight the right, but it is clear. We have two massive defeats.
And we have never had massive defeats in our history.
What happened? Well, after we had the massive defeat, what happened?
I'm asking you, have we ever had any massive defeat apart from what you're talking about?
We had a 61 defeat. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
Under whose leadership it was? Didn't the leadership change?
And let me ask you, who are the only two leaders in the United Workers' Party that brought the party to victory?
Who are the who?
Who are the only two political leaders in the United Workers' Party that have brought the United Workers' Party to victory?
To victory?
Yeah.
So John Compton alone.
Pardon me?
And Alan Chastanet.
Come on, use the name. Don't be ashamed to don't.
But I am telling you,
right.
John Compton and Alan Chastanet
are the only two that brought the party to victory.
Whichever two leaders we are that won an election. And Von Lewis won a by-election and he became Prime Minister. Stevenson became Prime Minister after Sir John died. He became Prime Minister. Yes, we voted for Alan Chastanet, but he has failed.
Who failed? Alan Chastanet? How he failed?
He has failed. The party has failed under his stewardship. With two massive back-to-back defeats, we lost Miku twice in a row. Miku was our bedrock, our backbone. We lost it twice in a row.
And one man caused you to lose it.
Chief, I will tell you it again. The opposition has demonized Alan Chastanet. And when I look, that's my own honest opinion.
So, I know, I understand what you just said. So you're saying that the Labour Party demonized Mr. Chastanet?
Yes.
And then you are following them to demonize him even more by repeating what they're telling you.
I am not following them to demonize him. The fact is, he cannot win again.
Who said that? You're
that
God?
Is the fact. He
I'm asking you, caller.
Again.
I'm asking you, caller. Are you God?
How what?
Are you God?
I am not God.
So why are you saying he cannot win? There ain't nothing in politics like
but
cannot.
It's clear. It is clear.
Caller, there is nothing is clear. You don't know that. You're not God. You don't know who can win and who can lose. And if Philip Japere wins again, it's because the people put their trust in him. Period.
They rather him run the country than Alan Chastanet. They put their trust in him.
So that is the people's choice, caller.
Whether you can say they bought votes or did whatever, they put their trust. The people rather tolerate Philip Japere than Alan Chastanet.
Caller, you have set up the point, and I am agreeing with you that the people choose Philip J. over the United Workers' Party. Full stop, period.
Why?
Go ask them. You're asking me to make an assessment.
Okay,
I'm not on the ground.
Let me give you another example.
But I'm going to give you 2
Hold on,
seconds.
hold on.
And hold. No, you hold. I'm going to give you a few seconds and then go ahead.
Hear me well.
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Look at ancillary canneries.
What happened to it?
Bobby said he lost. He won, right? Then he lost. The second time when he lost against a candidate that was invisible in the constituency. And he lost worse. These people have to understand the season is up. They have to go.
You have to go where?
Let's get new blood into the party. Let us attract young people into the party.
Caller?
The party is not a party of inclusion. Listen, if you just say something and it is not what they want to hear, you're ostracized, they sideline you.
Oh, you got sidelined?
I am not a candidate, Chief.
But all I can tell you is that
I am not a candidate.
We gotta go. But all I can tell you is if you're a true diehard supporter of the United Workers' Party, and you love the party, you pray and you get involved to make your party better. It's a democratic party. You listening to me?
They don't listen.
Caller,
They
don't listen because you're weak. You're weak. That's why. Yes. Because weak people.
If they don't listen
to me. Weak people
if they don't
give
listen,
up.
Now I'm weak.
Weak people give up and start cussing off their party. If you're strong, UWP, you will get in the ship and you will try to make a difference. Don't give up and say they don't listen.
Man. You cannot make a difference with the structure that is there right now.
Brother.
The structure is what causing the situation.
I am saying you are weak. I can help to change it. I can help to change it. I'm not giving up. I'm not going to go out there and say my party not good. Chastanet got to go. No, I would not do that at all because I understand.
I am not going out there and say anything. I am just telling you.
You're out there right now. You're out there with over 700 viewers.
You don't want to listen. When you don't want to listen, you have to head somewhere somehow. The party needs a new structure. The party needs
my program. Let's bring this to an end. Caller, we're gonna bring this to an end. All I can say to you.
Okay, have a nice day. We'll meet in person someday somehow.
Listen, man. God bless you, my brother. Folks, that was a caller wanted to ask Mr. Chastanet some questions about the United Workers' Party. As I said to you, folks, let me say something to you. God sets up and he takes down. And the United Workers' Party will continue to be the United Workers' Party. What those of you with concerns, need to do, and I don't want this program to turn out to be this bashing of the United Workers' Party. What I'm asking you to do, if you think that the party need changes, it need to improve on its system, get involved. Don't jump off the ship or stand on the side and say, look, the party not good, they're not good, and you can't say one good thing about your party. Get involved. Don't jump ship and start cussing off the party. They don't listen, they're not good. If the party don't listen, then we got to make them listen. There's a democracy there where all people can get involved. But don't just stay on the sideline and say, it's not good. No. The United Workers' Party, friends, the change will come. All need to get involved and stop this type of baby attitude, crying on the sideline. They don't listen to me. They don't listen. This one is good and we lose it. No. Let's cool out. Let's pull ourselves together. All right? So I'm not going to go on with any more of this United Workers' Party assessment right now on this platform. We can talk about it. Some of you know my number. We can talk about it privately, but I'm not going to be doing that on this platform. All right? And by the way, the person that you're saying is messed up won his seat. Okay? So we're not going to be doing that. My program is not going to be geared towards that period. So let me take you to the house for a minute so that we can listen to the rest of what Mr. Chastanet was saying.
It begs the question. Was this an economic stimulus program that we injected $110 million into the economy? Now, it also says, if in fact the economy contracted by 0.5%, and you put in $110 million, it tells you how anemic the economy must have been. And the most glaring number in that budget, in that number, Mr. Speaker, was that retail and wholesale declined. That is a significant decline. The government also added $340 million of new debt. Where's that money? And so it begs the question, I have to say, Mr. Speaker, on our part.
But you'll have to wrap it up.
Was this an economic stimulus, or was this a political stimulus?
You want more time?
Was this? Sure. I thought that was going to be the answer. So in fact, this number, this $110 million, did not result into economic benefits. But what it did, it resulted into, in my humble opinion, Mr. Speaker, into political benefits. And the measurable is there. The economy contracted, and there was a 16-1 win. And I want to say to the Prime Minister, with the greatest amount of respect, Mr. Speaker, that when he says the majority of people voted for him, I want to be semantically correct. The majority of the people who voted for him. But the majority of people did not vote. We fell for the first time, Mr. Speaker, down to 46 or 47% voter turnout, Mr. Speaker. So it's wrong to say that the majority of people have voted for you. In fact, Mr. Speaker, both...
Remember, I have to ask you to take your seat.
Both political parties, Mr. Speaker, both political parties should be put on notice that we are failing because the vast majority of the people in this country are abstaining from being able to vote. And we're going to have to be able to rectify. I certainly know that we're making everything. Mr. Speaker...
Remember, you have to take your seat.
On that note, I'm going...
All right, so that was the Honorable Alan Chastanet at the revenue of estimate that is for the year 2026 and 2027. The lines are open, folks, but I am not going to be having any major discussion on the party's internal business on the public media. All I can say to you is that the party is in the process of reorganizing, refocusing, and I think we need to bear a little more patience with them, and we need to also get involved. We need to get involved. Calling you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Mr. Garfield Sobers.
Yes, Mr. Bermuda the Great.
What's happening, man?
Hey, you're not bad at all.
But you already spent a lot of time with that joker. You guys see that guy's a joker?
Well, you know, people want to view their views. That's okay.
Garfield.
I mean, it is what it is.
So Garfield.
Yes, boss.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
If this guy, yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
If this guy was listening to the great man just now, he wouldn't ask the dumb questions he was asking. He's an idiot. If he was listening to the great man just now, he would ask the dumb questions he asking.
No, man, he's not an idiot.
He's got to be an idiot.
No. I think he's just a concerned supporter of the United Workers' Party.
I don't think this guy's a labor.
Well, you don't know him, but go ahead.
First of all, he came there for attitude, and he wanted to take your show. I would love him to confront the great man. Because so Alan Michael Chastanet would throw him and spit him out. Solutions are dumb people. Solutions are known to be the dumbest people in the Caribbean.
So you say that you're dumb, Mr. Bermuda? You're a St. Lucian too?
Yes, I am one of them.
And you're calling me dumb also? I'm a St. Lucian.
Let me say this to you. I can tell you something, right?
Uh-huh.
I can tell you something. A Barbados said it to me this morning early. They said how dumb St. Lucians are. I got on a taxi one night. I touched down in Barbados one night at 11 o'clock. I got in a taxi. A friend of mine. First thing he asked me, Why St. Lucia is so dumb? Anybody look at put PI for on the Chastanet the idiot. When and what time? That SFP could not get 100 votes in Barbados. The whole party could not get 100 votes in Barbados. What has done? He has just shown us how stupid St. Lucians are. Let me show you how stupid St. Lucians are. Gas was $13.95. They make noise. They protest. They do this. They do the next. Yes, the gas was $17.95. They say a word. You hear me, Garfield?
Yep.
You follow me?
Yep.
You could go into the health scare. The roads. Every day they're crying. You know the history of St. Lucia? You know the history of St. Lucia?
Yeah.
95% of the development of St. Lucia was done by the UWP. 5% was done by the SLP. But yet still, the SLP got two-thirds majority, got a two-thirds majority victory over 4 or 5 times. Only idiots does that. Only Oxymores does that.
Well, what I would do, I would not call St. Lucian stupid because they choose the SLP. That's their choice.
Listen to me. That's their choice.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that
So when they choose the United Workers' Party, they're not dumb and stupid?
That is stupidity to the highest level.
Yeah, but if you look at the Constitution, it affords every St. Lucian the right to choose a party. You understand?
Man, Garfield, I'm a St. Lucian, okay? I'm a St. Lucian.
Yeah, but when you do that, Mr. Bermuda, you are actually disrespecting the St. Lucians. And you're trying to stifle their democratic rights and freedoms.
Garfield, let me tell you something.
And that might be a dangerous road for us to go on.
You are telling me a man offering you $75,000 for health. Okay, you turn that down and go on the roadside begging?
Well, if the people say they don't want it, then that's their choice. Well, if they're on the sidewalk begging or they're somewhere else, that's their choice.
Okay, that's your choice.
Yeah.
But don't beg me for money. Don't come and beg me for money. Don't come and beg me for money. That's your choice. Don't come and beg me for money. And the list goes on. The president wanted to ask that guy, who in the floorball he could make a leader? Well, because they ain't got none of them.
Well, I really
protect the great man, so I love my Chastanet. None of them. None of them. They got nobody in the Caribbean. Garfield, let me tell you something. I asked an Englishman one time. I said to the man, the greatest leader in the Caribbean is in the world is swallowed by Chastanet. You know the guy said me? You know the guy told me? No. You think the greatest leader was John Majors, former British Prime Minister. Well, you know John Majors was in the 80s, in the 90s. Right? What the man is trying to say, there's nobody on the planet now that's leading right now that can touch that man. Only hear this, and then call that guy names on your show, I can't do it. Come on, Paul, no. Listen to those boys talking his funny, his crack.
Well, Mr. Barbuda, the United Workers' Party have 110 people.
Those are the kind of guys that
lead this party, you know.
Listen, the great man said $110 million was dished out. $110 million was dished out. What's wrong with that guy? Is he that dumb? Is he that stupid? Is he that backward? $110 million, Garfield. They're in more pain. They're in more pain now than ever. St. Lucia is the bottom of the ladder. Lose passports, lose visas, they lose everything. Hanging on a string. Garfield, you know that, Garfield? The decisions that St. Lucians make, only Oxymore says that. Only Oxymore says that.
Mr. Bermuda, the only thing I would say is that I believe that St. Lucians a large majority of St. Lucians do not pay attention to what is important to them, such as these budgets, CIP reports, and the global challenges. They're busy talking about who's red, who is pink, who ugly, who boyfriend got taken away, and all kind of petty stuff. But what really matters to the people, they don't spend time looking at it. And if they do, it would be reflected in their actions in the country. You know, look at the pollution on our beaches by our own local people. Look at what we're doing to ourselves.
So Garfield, let's take Kenny Anthony. Had he done anything to get a solution? They gave him 3 terms in office. For what?
Well, you can't say. To tell the truth, I wouldn't say Kenny Anthony didn't do nothing, Mr. Bermuda.
None of substance. None of substance. The big fear. And he's waterer. Nothing to talk about. Chastanet. Listen, if you follow the debate, when the great man asks those guys questions, you know what they say? I give you 61. I give you 50. Why? Because the SFB full solutions with the same thing, with the same nonsense every election. Promises, pie in the sky. The government giving up messages, the government insulting them, doing the worst things to them. And people like Oti Boy come talk, and that guy come talk a lot of nonsense, talk a lot of crap.
All right.
This is just dumb.
Okay, thank you. All right, so
just dumb people.
Yeah, I don't think so though. But man. But
you don't think so?
No.
Garfield, once upon a time I would have said that. Once upon a time, like 20, 30 years ago, I would have said that. I think that'd be easy.
I disagree.
I can send you a video. A guy said to me this morning, the world don't know how dumb solutions are. What's wrong with you, Garfield? You living on that rock or what?
Well,
is it true?
No, but I think we have great solutions.
Let me say this to you. Now, it is people like you, Garfield, I must say, it's people like you that go around telling solutions that they're intelligent for doing their nonsense.
So now you're telling me that I'm bad?
Yes, you because you know they're doing nonsense.
Yeah, but I listen.
S.S.D.F has been in office the formation about 75 years. S.S.D.F has never produced a good leader ever in history. The solution level, listen to me, the Communist Solution Level Party, Mongoose Gang, government never produced a good leader, never ever in history. Name one.
Yeah, but
Solution had two great leaders, and they both from UWP. And I am not a UWP supporter, not an SFB supporter. I'm a Chastanet supporter because the only man is the cream.
Caller, you got to be a United Workers Party supporter, not an individual. The party is much bigger than the Honorable Alan Chastanet. All right?
I understand all that. I understand all that. But a lot of promoters have set out. They sell the life of for 30 million of silver. That's what they do all the time.
Well, that's their choice, you know. They can sell for whatever they want. You know, they can sell for green figs. That's a choice that they have.
I asked you a question. Please answer me, Garfield.
I have a call coming in, but go ahead.
Name me one good leader the SFP has produced. Name me one good leader. One.
You can't put me on the spot, but both parties, as far as I'm concerned, are necessary for the development of the country.
I just proven to you that solutions does vote for zero. All that's voting for zeros. They love zeros.
Yeah, but no, the people, you know, not all solutions are what you say.
Garfield, don't forget you're a preacher man. You don't lie to me, you lie to God. If you're lying, you lie to God, not to me, Garfield. I'm going to listen to you, Garfield.
Thank you, Mr. Bermuda.
These people are dumb backwards. And stupid. I hear Oti Boy say what I did. Oti Boy said, Captain told him to look after the party. They have some pills in there, blah, 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 blah. But what was the boy didn't say? The only person that was in the party, no, when Compton was alive, was probably Guy and the great man, Salah Michael Shafi. All the rest of the guys are brand new. I mean, the caller just called just now. All those guys are brand new. What are you talking about? Get younger players. What is he talking about? Is he that dumb? All those guys are brand new. All those women are brand new. What, do you want to bring babies? Why go make a baby for $1,000? I get you $1,000, my idiot.
Well, I can tell you that there are a lot of mothers out there who are pregnant now and going to be giving birth, I think August or after August. They're going to be happy for that $1,000 still, because $1,000 from nothing is a lot for some people. You better believe it. It wouldn't maintain a child for all its life. But $1,000. If you don't have $1,000 and you get $1,000, then you're in good shape.
You're going to be married over. Listen, I mean, the great man offered unemployment benefit.
Mm-hmm.
The great man offered $75,000. The great man offered paying your gas, you help your light bill, your gas, and what else?
No matter what you say, if I was a woman and I was in St. Lucia and I'm pregnant now, I'll be the happiest mother. That's an extra $1,000 I'm getting. I would rub my belly with coconut oil and smile straight to the bank from $1,000. Even those 2 Pampers I get and a tin of carnation, I happy. $1,000 from nothing is something.
Listen, okay, I hear you. Listen.
What do you mean you hear me? It's the truth.
Yeah, it's coming with this African ideology. Keep the people poor, and we stay rich. We just rule them for single. That's what Pierre is doing there. Pierre, the Mongoose gang is communist. I've been ranking about that since they got in power. I saw it for the first 3 months. Those guys are communists. Now they tell those guys, oh, I cannot drop the price of gas. I cannot drop the price of gas because if I drop the price of gas, y'all will not spend the money right. Do you believe that? That's what the Prime Minister said to Solutions. I cannot drop the price of gas because if I did, y'all will not spend the money right.
But I have to. But Bishop Abuda, what I would say to people too is that elections do have consequence. The party that wins get to implement their policies, and the party that loses gets to stay in opposition and help with the checks and balances of the country. But elections do have consequences.
Let me show you another thing. I'm not like you. I'm not like people before you. Certain journalists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or talk shows. The SFP do not go there. The SFP do not answer questions. They don't answer questions. Flabo is the only one. Whether Flabo is in opposition or in government, they answer all the questions. SFP ain't gonna do nothing.
But I have a caller holding though.
SFP ain't gonna... Huh?
I have a caller holding. No, I saw my friends asking me if I'm for real, Mr. Barbuda. It is true, Reverend. Let's just.
Put out the Bank America.
Let's just.
Put out the Bank America. Most solutions are dumb, backward, and stupid. Okay.
Mr. Barbuda, goodbye. Thank you. I gotta go. Good. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what I'm saying, and those who are calling can continue to call. The lines was a little jam there, but understand what I'm saying, folks. Just take away the party colors for a while. And I will not go because a prime minister asks me, say to me, I'm giving you $1,000 if you have a baby by August or whatever it is. I'm giving you $1,000. I'm not stupid enough to go and say I'm getting pregnant because of $1,000. That would be the most. And if any woman does that in the country, Mr. Barbuda would be right. Because if you are not prepared for a child, you don't have proper housing for that child, you don't have the support for that child after that $1,000 is done, you cannot afford milk, Pampers. It's just a little boyfriend you have, and he's not regular. He's not even working. He's on the block sitting down. And you go out there and say, well, the prime minister's give me $1,000, so I go in for my $1,000, I get him pregnant. That would be careless. Because a number of things you're doing, you're bringing a child in the world that you can't take care of, that is going to be on the same government system. The same ministers, you'll be running behind them. for another $1,000 ever so often, that child would have a problem with school books and all. Reverend, if you cannot afford a child, let the country go through what it's going through and stop. If you cannot afford a child. And I know that a whole lot of people who don't think right, you know. There's a whole set of people in the nation who does not think right. All they hear about is money. And that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of crazy people. And maybe I should not use the term crazy people. A lot of individuals who don't reason. It is all about a $5. Give me a $5. And this is reflected in a lot of the attitude and what we see, the actions of our people. Give me $5. I'll vote for you. Give me $100. Give me $1,000. I make a baby. Temporary stuff. A 1 week $500. A 1 week $1,000. And they do not think down the road. They do not think long term. That's why a lot of people don't have a house for themselves. That's why a lot of St. Lucians don't have lands. That's why a lot of people are just behind with their education. They're just behind on business, on everything, because it's always a temporary fix. It's always a temporary, something temporary. It is true. So if a St. Lucian woman is not using her brain, and she goes out there, exposes herself to all sorts of sexual transmitted disease with a guy who is not even committed to her, and all she has at the top of her mind or the front of her mind is $1,000, then what are we? Who are we really? That would be the question. Who really? Who are we as a nation? So don't come and say, Philip J. Fair, give me, say, $1,000, and so you just pick up a man and you just be doing nastiness and carelessness with yourself, and then the $1,000 is finished. A whole pardon. You blame Philip J. Fair and you call the child Philip J. Fair's child because you hear $1,000. He didn't tell you go pick me for $1,000 or make children for $1,000. $1,000 can't even get the child delivered as far as I'm concerned. Huh? But we got to be able to think straight. If there's a mother, and I'm not here to big up the Prime Minister or big up government, I'm here to be fair. If the Prime Minister, who was voted in based on, you know, maybe his policies, a lot of people vote for his policies, they vote because they like him, they vote because they don't want UWP in power, they voted for what they're getting now. So if the man say, okay, a mother said, look, I had zero, my belly big, I have a child. Before the Prime Minister announced this, I welcome that $1,000. I can go and buy some shimmies or some stuff at Bobby's or somewhere, or at S.S.D.F for the child. I can get a little box of powder or something for the child. That $1,000 goes a long way for somebody who don't have nothing. A matter of fact, it's the people's money. It's the people's money. Might be small, but it goes a long way for a mother who had nothing. Come on. So I'm not going to make that a big mountain for me to climb over. But what I'm saying to you is that there is a problem in the world when it comes to maternity, when it comes to babies being born. The population is dwindling. We are killing half of our people. Half of our people are killing themselves. Cancer is wiping a lot of people out. You know what I'm talking about. Sickness and disease. If I was the government of St. Lucia, I would do everything that I can to boost up the medical institutions. Because that's where we are losing our people. We are losing them on the streets with guns. We are losing them in our hospitals when they go. Either lack of medication, the right procedures are not being done in the country, and people can't go out, so therefore they just stay on their beds. And many of you would have known someone who was sent back home from the hospital and died at home. When, if that individual was in another country, developed country, then they would have got the medical intervention and their lives would have been lengthened. So there's a whole set of things that are destroying the human race. And two, the reality is that people don't want to talk about is that this younger generation, they're becoming more wise. They're protecting themselves. Back in the days, people would just be having 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. So you can understand that decline. You have a more, you're having now a more enlightened and educated generation. That's a fact too. You got to look at that. You have a whole lot also of individuals who are saying, look, I'm going to just have a boyfriend. In other words, you have a man saying, look, I'm going to be with a man. You have a woman saying, I'm going to be with a woman. Right there, you have stopped the production of babies. The reality is if two men come together, they can't make a child. If two women come together, they can't make a child. They have to adopt. Remember, the problem is an alarming level of childbirth. So there's a whole lot of stuff that are affecting our nation. But people are more educated, more informed, and the young people are not allowing anybody to get them pregnant. Some of them are putting their career first. They're putting their education first. Some of them are putting even their Christianity first over their emotions and their feelings. So it's going to fall, and there's not much the world can do. You can pay people, you can give them money. When people decide that they are not going to have or they can't have, and by the way, the foods are preventing a lot of families from having children. They're a whole group that want to have, but we are not addressing the problem. We need to have more medical intervention for families who want to have kids and cannot have. There are families who are fighting, have been fighting for years, but there's a problem with their reproductive system. And Mr. McDowell at NBC, his medication or drinks for the men, whatever you call them, can't help. You understand what I'm saying? We have to strengthen the institution if we want to fix this this problem in the country. We got to fix our institutions, especially the medical institution. But I would not encourage any woman under the sound of my voice to go and have child because the government say we having a problem, or to say that you will get $1,000. That would be the most ignorant thing that you would have done, decision that you would make in your life. A matter of fact, that would be the most stupidest thing that you would have done as a young woman. And women, you got to guard yourself even further now, because there are a whole lot of men out there who are hearing this and would want to go and play superheroes. Go and help out the government with a thing. Go and help out. And it's not. And when you check yourself, it's not enough for you. They abandon the child after a while. You don't see them after, because they're helping out the country. Is that true? Of course it's true. So don't go do foolishness with yourself and say, blame the Prime Minister giving $1,000. If the Prime Minister have an extra $1,000 you want to give it to mothers, go ahead. It's better with the people. The money's better in their pockets. Give it to them. You know? It goes around. But don't do foolishness with yourself and say, the Prime Minister said to go on. And we got to lift the discussions that we're having too. We got to elevate the discussions that we're having. It's a fact. We got to elevate it. You know? There's certain fights we don't take on. There's some you got to take on. That's a fact. What really is concerning to us is the rising debt, water crisis, the food challenge, and the gas. Believe it or not, that gas price is going to go up. I saw at one pump here in New York, $5. When I went, my gas tank was empty when I went to that gas station and I saw $5. Guess what I do? I put $10 gas in and I head to Costco, to BJ's, where I get cheaper gas. because I'm part of the club. You don't have those options. So you got to mind your business. You got to look for what is important to you. And what we do not want is our government to start getting some of you comfortable that you get careless because a little $500 is good, a little $200 there, $500 there, and you have no meaningful employment. All you have is this temporary fix. And until the next election, some of you will continue to have temporary fix. $1,000 is not a... Folks, come on, let's raise the bar as a people. Don't let people call us stupid. You're not stupid. You're an intelligent people. And I'm not going to sit here and say that you're stupid because you choose the Labour Party over the United Workers' Party. That's your democratic rights. And I'm not going to call you all perfect because you voted for the United Workers' Party. You have a choice. You can make those choices. You can decide who you're going to support and who you're not going to be so. And even within the United Workers' Party, you can decide who is your leader and who is not your leaders. That's your right. But I'm not going to sit here and cuss anybody off and say, you're a fool, you're not good because you don't like Chastanet or you don't like this. No. And Mr. Chastanet will tell you he's not the United Workers' Party God. And he will tell you, the first thing he will tell you is that I will not fight the party. I stand with whatever decision the party makes. And that is important. That we do not idolize people and treat them like they're the only ones that can lead our party, and that if we don't elect them, then the party is going to crash. There is always leaders, and if our party cannot produce leaders and we say there is only one person that can lead our party, then something is wrong with us and our party. We should be able to have 5 good leaders at a time to take over the leadership. If Mr. Shasta decide, look, that's it for me. I'm just going to support my party and I'm going to just step aside. We should be able to say, look, here is a man who can do the job. But what we cannot do is to start firing shots at our party, firing shots at our leaders. And I always say to you, even in private, that I believe that there are some leaders that need to be shift around. They need to be either demoted or allowed to function somewhere else. And I'm sure that the party will have the opportunity at their convention, and even before that, to make those decisions. But sometimes we need to just work with the party, and don't just say that they head hard. No, everybody head hard. But if you keep pushing, that's what you call activism. If you keep pushing and you keep following, respectfully following the process. There are some people who have no respect. We got to respect people. And until we respect people, yes, we might be in the wilderness. We got to respect people. That's number one in gaining the confidence of the people of St. Lucia. We must learn how to respect all views. The views can be stupid and as ignorant as it is, but we got to respect people, allow people to be. Not all the time you have to run to cuss people off because they don't agree with you. And we do it and then we blame the leaders and say that's why we lose. No, sometimes we as supporters run the people with our attitude. But politics is about winning the confidence of the people. And to win the confidence of the people, we must show respect and regards for the people. We must show respect for the institutions of government, the laws of not only the party, but the laws of the land. We must follow the law. Don't break the law. Don't park where you're not supposed to park. Don't throw garbage where you're not supposed to throw garbage. Respect your neighbor's boundaries. You will win the confidence of the people if we have more love for the people. And most of all, you got to love your country. If you love your country, you're not going to want anything bad to happen to it. You're not going to want it to burn down. You're not going to want You're not going to be cutting the trees by the river and just putting your house anywhere and everywhere, vike. You don't want to be glittering. Some of you just throwing garbage. This is nastiness. You got to take pride in who you are. And stop being stupid. It is stupidness when you just littering and just disrespecting people. So we got to grow. We got to grow. And if you ask me, I think that the United Workers' Party is still my party of choice. And it can shake how it wants. I can tell you that my voice will be right where it needs to be in the process. What you will not have me to do is to be out there, saying this must go, that must go. No, I know where to say it and how to say it. There's something that you call manners, etiquette, protocols, time and place. I said, Lucia, meet you in casual and cuss you in front of the church. They cuss you anywhere. No time and place. And that's the problem I'm saying. We have to have a more disciplined society. We have to develop a more disciplined society with self-control and respect for law and order. All the killing you see and suffering all over the place, we got to teach our people to respect people and to respect people's property and respect people's opinion and agree to disagree. And I am seeing something in the House and the Senate that is happening. I'm seeing a softening. I'm seeing people talking sometimes to each other. I'm looking very closely. The House and the Senate have caused some serious damage to the country with all these fights and unnecessary nastiness that they have been doing. You're debating a bill, it's all about the person and this, how they look, and all this craziness and no substance. That we don't discuss the substantial matter, which is the budget. Like the minister, foreign affairs minister, you heard nothing much about the global crisis with our diplomatic relationships around the world, our visa threats and issues, travel advisories and all the different stuff. You hear little, all you hearing about 16-1, we win and we win and we win and we win, and spend all those time, friends, on the crisis that is before us. The elections is done, gone. The next 5 years, 4 years, it's coming back. The next 4 years is going to come back. But for now, you got to build your nation. Because you got to live in it. I might not have to live in it. But you will have to live in your country. You will have to drink your water. You will have to breathe the air. You will have to go to the medical institutions in your country. You will have to deal with the crime issues in your country. We have families on the ground that we are praying for. So I think we should pull ourselves together and focus on what really matters. Calling you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform. Calling you on the air. Calling you on the air.
Yes, good night, Garfield.
Good night, sir.
In light of your show and the callers who called before me, I want to just add a few things here. I listened to Alan. Alan always comes out really good in the House. Although I felt this thing he talked about with Richard. I don't know if you heard when Richard stood up, when he mentioned about in the House about he not being afforded an opportunity to appoint someone.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
Richard stood up and said that, listen, you know, the member for Mikunov is not he don't see anywhere in the legislation that says he has somebody on the opposition. And then what's his name? The Speaker of the House, Claudius, was challenging Richard about it. Now, for me, you know,
was that an awkward moment, Colin?
It was sort of a bit awkward on two sides. For me, even with the Speaker of the House coming to the defense of Ireland, which I found was a bit strange.
Yeah, very much.
And also from Alan himself, I found that was a little strange because 4 years. I mean, I would have brought up that situation way before, not now.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 years your people don't have a representative on the council itself in Miku South, excuse me. I mean, at least, you know, I would have, you know, the responsible thing I would have done is to get somebody on the council in Miku South.
Well, based on what Mr. Chastanet was saying, is that he did try.
Well, apparently, you know, he never made it public because we are only knowing that now.
Yeah. And
knowing that now to the point that even the speaker himself challenged Richard about it.
Yeah.
So I think you know, we need to at least be more on the ball as an opposition.
Yep.
And need to do what we need to do.
And that's why we need to strengthen the opposition. We need to strengthen the United Workers' Party leadership. We need to, as a people and supporters of the party, need to come together and ensure that we have what it takes, you know.
Yeah. So that is the exact thing. Now, the other thing for me is I listened to the first callers, the very first one I think you had on.
Yeah.
And somewhat he sounded like a very disgruntled UWP.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, Garfield, there's a lot of them around. I mean, I walk the streets every day, and you meet UWPs who tell you, listen, the party cannot continue in the same fashion as it is now. However it's been articulated, everybody has their own way of, you know, bringing their concerns across. Some are a little more agitated than others. Some others are a bit docile.
Yeah.
Some are more respectful than
diplomatic.
others. But you can't expect everybody to come across the same way.
No.
I think what needs to happen now is UWPs needs to basically start hearing each other out.
Yeah.
And trying to see what the problems are that we can start to deal with it, as opposed to just shutting everybody who comes with a quarrel or some sort of disagreement and shut them aside. Yeah. Because a lot of what they're saying has merit, whether we like it or not. We're in a situation where we have lost 2 elections back to back, right? One more miserable than the other. And we are not blaming any one person for that. But clearly, if you have a ship and that ship has sailed and found itself in the bottom of the ocean, the captain is normally the one you find the answers from. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's some level of responsibility that lies with the captain. Now,
that's for the ship, right?
Having said that, yes. Having said that, it doesn't mean that he alone contributes to where that ship ends up at the bottom. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. What we are saying is a lot of people are concerned that we're supposed to be in some sort of preparation to convention. And basically you're not seeing, you're not hearing anything. Basically the party has gone silent. You have not heard any address by the leadership to the members, whether it be at the branch level or at the senior level. No one knows what's going on. Everybody meets you. Oh, what's going on? What are you hearing? When is convention? When is this? When is that? Anytime a party loses or wins, you have to go to a convention. That is almost something that is automatic.
Well, I know the party is heading to convention. I know that they're gearing up for that process. All the reviews will be done, I'm sure, before that. That's what I can guarantee you, that the reviews will be done. And because at this time, you cannot go into convention without knowing what went wrong and what you need to improve on. It will be careless for us to go into. It will be careless for us to go into a convention without facing the reality.
Absolutely. The thing is, a lot of people, because of the situation at hand, a lot of people want to know where the party is heading, what direction it's going. Even some of the candidates who ran the last election, they themselves are pretty much no wiser than any of the supporters themselves. So you can't have a party in limbo for too long, or in some sort of wait and see mode.
Well, some of these discussions are more internal, I call it, and I get very uncomfortable sometimes in having it in public. But I can guarantee the supporters of the United Workers' Party that the party is going to regroup and come back. But what I would agitate for privately is a full review of the operations of the United Workers' Party, and that we go into the convention with the facts, knowing what needs to be done, and without any games or any child's play, of course.
Well, I think that's what most of us would like to see.
Yeah.
And in the interest of unity, let us make sure it's a transparent one, and it's one that people can be proud of at the end of the day.
Yep. Because I want to see all people on board.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I want to see all people on board, all people involved. I think we need to bring more people on board. We need to stop cursing people out and start talking to people, start listening a little more, so that we can have a stronger union.
What needs to be done.
Yeah.
You need to hear the grievances. You need to hear what people are saying.
Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but you need to
it may
hear
not be nice.
But not in public. I don't think we should
It may not be something you want to hear, but you need to at least hear it out.
But not in public. I don't think we need to hear that in public.
No, public. I don't think public is the best place.
As far as I'm concerned, we should deal with our gripes internally, and we can shout, but we got to respect people. We got to speak the truth, and we got to stand with righteousness, and we'll be okay.
Absolutely. But I believe that dust will settle.
Yeah.
We have been down that road before.
We've been
down that road in 97.
True.
And it is not something new to UWP.
No, we get over
how we deal with it.
Yeah.
How we deal with it. We must be tolerant.
We got to.
We must be tolerant of contrary opinions, because that's what makes democracy healthy.
And I think this is the moment in time for us to really face the reality of our party and see what needs to be done. Yeah, this is the time. We can't play with this one. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, I think I've said enough.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for calling, though. And I just recognized the voice,
I'm sure you know the voice, but I won't tell you who.
I don't
want you to say who either.
All right. Okay. All right, my friend. Take care.
Yeah, man. You take care.
All right, brother. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All righty. Yes, my friends. Now, there's a caller that was calling in all the time. Let me just take this call and then we'll go. All right. Here the call is coming back in. Yes. So the call is coming in. Caller, you're on the air. Sorry about the delay.
Good night, Brother Garfield.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Hello, are you hearing me there, Brother Garfield?
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Brother Garfield, I'll start off by saying this. Mm-hmm. The United Workers' Party, for me, in my opinion, had never lost the last general elections. And, the winners will always decide, the victors always decide the history. And in what happened, it was, I could say we was maybe not forceful enough to see where the cracks is and whatnot. Those guys run a robust campaign. And, they will go all out. And one thing again, the Labour parties across the OACS and Caribbean has come alliances. In other ways, they help each other. In other ways, they bail each other. In other ways, they have the same agenda across the Caribbean. If you go to Dominica, you'll hear they talking the same. You go to St. Kitts and Nevis with Gaston Brown. You go to Barbados, you get Mia Motley. Yeah. When they won the election, I told people, from Trinidad to St. Vincent, St. Lucia was the stopping point because it was a yellow wave running across the Caribbean. You can see in Jamaica. Jamaica is our allies with that Jamaican guy there.
Yeah.
That's the Prime Minister. He won that election. Trinidad and Tobago, we won there, down there, St. Vincent. So the Labour Party came together and said, hey, we have to make it stop in St. Lucia, because if they didn't stop in St. Lucia, then Barbados would have fallen, St. Kitts and Nevis would have fallen, all those would have turned yellow or conservatives. My point is,
I would have done the same thing too if I was on the other side, huh?
That's basically what happened. It was a strategic move where they figured out they're losing ground. When they lost St. Vincent, they figured out they're losing ground. Don't forget, Roosevelt and Philip J. Pierre went to St. Vincent and speak to that guy down there in St. Vincent before he lost, and they told him to
Dr. Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not Friday. They didn't go to talk to Friday. They went to talk to the ally that lost the election.
Yes, Ralph Gonsalves. Yeah.
Exactly.
But Ralph is putting up a big fight in St. Vincent, Ralph is a big time. I'm telling you, Ralph is an activist. Ralph knows how to bring people together in opposition. Trust me.
Now, that is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
It is not Ralph only.
Yeah.
Don't forget, they have the Philip JPS there, they have the Motleys there. Those guys are sending resources. What's her name? Kamala Harris, Bissat said that in Trinidad.
Yeah, she did.
Those guys are taking the most strategic guys in the Labour parties from Barbados, then Dominic, and they're sending them down in St. Vincent to help Ralph, to help their comrade. That is what it's about. So what I'm getting at is that when we UWP is in opposition, you understand, we can reach out. We do not have to reach the party. Do not have to reach out. A fund where conservative people donated to that fund. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
So we have those governments down there, those friendly governments from Jamaica to the US with Donald Trump and all. I'm not saying those people are conservatives. Those guys from their allies, we help each other. Because you see, when we lost the election, let's say, for example, in Shrewsbury, we had, let's say, 1,000 votes.
Mm-hmm.
When we lost those elections, those people that voted, 1,000 people that voted, and those people that left their work to come and run the campaign and all those different things, we lost the election. It's just like we just been thrown under the bus. But if we had a safety net that can hold our 1,000 people, so by the time the next 5 years come, we can build upon the next 1,000 to make it 2,000 people. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah.
In other words, we do small housing repairs in the community. We take one house in every community. We UWP people fund that. We help buy plywood. We help buy blocks. But we do that by our fund. There's a fund that conservative parties across the Caribbean help each other.
But
the same way the Labour parties across the Caribbean help each other.
Right. As a conservative movement in the region, we got to be able to lift people's burden. You understand what I'm saying? We got to impact the person, the individual,
Because you see,
yeah, we got to have strong policies that will impact the family, the person, the individual.
One of the reasons to Brother Garfield, not to cut you short, because my phone will die any second.
Yeah,
one of the reasons to Brother Garfield, I will tell you why Sir John was strong, because it's that kind of mechanism. Whether in opposition, whether in government, the United Party members feeling safe.
Yeah.
They know they can turn to a UWP, a fellow UWP, and say, hey, such and such and such, and still reach out. In other words, we still have back channels that our people can reach out to, that they can get assistance in different ways and in different means, so that they do not feel neglected, they do not feel easily bought when election times come, because they know they're worth. You understand?
Yep. But you make a lot of sense.
So I will just cut it by saying this, Brother Garfield, because I'll keep it short tonight. Yeah. I'll just come saying by this is that if in opposition, we do not take care of the people that voted for us, we do not take care of the people that ran the campaign for us, and over the 5 years, after 5 years again, we try to come back and try to convince those same set of people, we're not going anywhere. Yeah. So in other words, we must strengthen our community branches. We must leave some of the offices, strategic offices around the island open, that any way UWP person can come in and or any person in the public, not just UWP persons, anybody that needs help, basically, then they don't want to turn them because they already tried that avenue, the government avenue, so they can come to our avenue. Then they can remember, well, 4 years ago, that person still helped me with one sheet of galvanized. That person helped me, with a little school bursaries. You understand? That is where we're going to keep it grassroots and keep the movement flowing, because it has to be continuous. It cannot be, all right, we lost the election and 5 years we go back and sleep. And then another 5 years we try to come back and convince the people. And
No.
people,
They would see that you're not genuine. You have to always be there, with them. Yeah.
So, in other words, if they say the party do it, I hear a lot of people say, oh, the party do not have money. Trying a way for the party to have money. Yeah. And we have conservative people out there. Send some of our operatives, send them in St. Vincent, send them in Trinidad, send them Jamaica, send them Singapore, because the Singapore government is a conservative government as well.
Too,
right?
Yes. That's right.
Let us build a trust fund. Let us do something that, whether in opposition, whether in government, we're taking care of our people, and we're not just taking care of our people, we're taking care of everybody and a large.
And we got to watch Antigua.
We need leadership.
Yeah, we got to watch Antigua this week and see what happens. Yeah. All right, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so. We got to monitor Antigua, the Antigua elections too. Yeah. All right, folks. This is the last call that we'll be taking tonight. Let me just read a few of your comments, and then we will close the show. My friend Martin is saying the citizens in Sir John's era were more politically intelligent and wiser than the St. Lucian we have now. And I kind of wonder why, too. Instead of progressing, we're regressing. I'm not sure why. All right. Lydia says, you can understand that I will listen to them. Okay. Jean Francis, money put labor to power. There's nothing wrong with Alan. Mm-hmm. You write callers so people could see it. Yeah, is not the leader. Someone says, caller, money talks. Labor has all our tax money to run elections, but UWP has to struggle. They don't have money. Someone says, good for you, my brother. Me neither. Another one, I don't follow them. Okay. Someone says they had the CIP monies to pay people. Let's see here. No party which came into power through dishonest practices can never develop the country in a good way. Let's read two more and then we will go. What benefits me is some say they are flabos. What baffles me is some say they're flabos, but every day their TV is on NBC getting brainwashed with nonsense. Okay. So I think that's it for comments. Let me see if I get one more. Someone says, why you don't go open your own party and telling us change leadership? You don't like go, my friends. Okay, so all right, so Brooks, the party, the United West Party is a big machine, and we should let not our hearts be troubled, but all should get involved in the process. Don't get vexed with people, folks, over their statements and stuff. Let's just work to bring people. All right, let's work to bring people. We have young people that we need to convince that we have vision, we have a plan that, they can buy into. So, folks, this has been another Caribbean American News. Those of you on YouTube, I do apologize. I did not read your comments. The side of the screen that shows the comments is not up, but I can see you, our YouTube viewers. Again, thank you so much for being part of the experience. Remember, folks, I'm just a volunteer here, and I put this time together for this show every Tuesday. So when I can't do it anymore, of course, I'll let you know. But I honestly just want to be fair, to be truthful, and to stand on the side of righteousness, and not, I don't like to disrespect anyone. I don't like to call people out of their names. I don't want to do that. So, folks, I want you to just be good. Life is short. Can be here today and gone tomorrow. All right? So blessings to every one of you, and may God bless you I'm your host, Garfield Olliver. It was good being here with you. Thank you.
Welcome to Caribbean American News Media. Let's get to work. I'm here to help.
Welcome to Caribbean American News Media with